Ever wondered about those really slick live streams, how they get from some remote spot right to your screen looking totally professional? Well, today we're doing a deep dive into the Blackmagic streaming processors. These are dedicated hardware boxes making high-quality remote production, actually doable over the internet.
Yeah, we're going to look at how their streaming gear has evolved, make sense of the new product names, and really show how these devices are enabling, well, truly professional remote setups. It's changing the game for broadcast.
Right. Our mission here is simple. Give you the shortcut to understanding this big shift, moving away from old-school broadcast towards robust IP streaming. And why these little boxes are so vital when, dropping frames just isn't an option. Okay, so let's unpack this. The first big thing is this strategic rebranding. What people knew as Blackmagic Web Presenter, they're now officially Blackmagic Streaming Encoders.
And what's really interesting there, it's not just slapping a new label on it. It creates this really logical pair. You've got a streaming encoder sending the video out and a streaming decoder to receive it. It signals they're really focusing on building these secure point-to-point links, proper broadcast stuff, not just hitting social media.
So basically these things take your video feed, maybe SDI or HDMI, from a camera or a switcher.
Exactly.
And they convert it into something you can stream, like H.264.
Right.
Or that newer, more efficient H.265. All inside the box.
Precisely. No computer needed for the encoding itself. The streaming encoder 4K, for instance, that can push out up to 4K DCI, that's digital cinema, at 60 frames per second. It uses H.264 or H.265, and importantly, it supports SRT.
SRT, right. Secure, reliable transport. That's huge for streaming over the regular internet, isn't it? Makes it more reliable.
Oh, absolutely. It handles dodgy networks much better than, say, traditional RTMP. It's built for low latency and reliability. And then its partner, the streaming decoder 4K, just takes that SRT stream or others and turns it back into SDI or HDMI video on the other end. Again, up to 4K 60p.
Okay, but here's where it gets really interesting for pro workflows, I think. It's not just about sending video one way. You mentioned bidirectional.
Yes, and this tackles a huge remote production headache. How do you actually control a camera that's miles away or talk to the operator? These processors have what's called a return path. It sends data back over the same stream connection, things like tally lights.
No, the camera op knows they're live.
Exactly. And talkback, so the director can speak to the crew. Even camera control signals. Think about it. The decoder, maybe connected to an ATEM switcher in the main studio, can grab that tally and talkback info from the switcher's SDI out and send it all the way back over the internet to the encoder at the remote site. A compatible Blackmagic camera plugged into that encoder gets the commands instantly.
Whoa, so you're turning a simple video feed into a full two-way broadcast link. That really is a game changer. So what kind of price are we talking for this level of integration?
Well, that streaming encoder 4K with the 4K, the H.265, SRT, the return path stuff, and 4G, 5G phone tethering as a backup, it's $745. And the streaming decoder 4K, the receiver, is also $745. So for under $1,500, you have this incredibly robust professional point-to-point link.
That's pretty accessible. Okay, so if you're using these, what are the key things to keep in mind for a, rock-solid stream?
Network. Resilience is everything. Always go for a wired gigabit Ethernet connection if you possibly can. That's your primary. And definitely use that phone tethering feature 4G or 5G as a backup, or even primary if wired isn't an option. Redundancy is key. Also, something to be aware of. These are hardware encoders, and they're generally optimized for VBR, variable bitrate.
Meaning the data rate can jump around depending on how complex the picture is.
Exactly. Which is efficient, but it's different from constant bitrate, or CBR, which some software encoders let you force. So you need to manage your bitrate settings carefully, especially if your internet connection isn't super stable, to avoid overwhelming it during, say, fast action scenes.
Right, makes sense. And I guess using these with other Blackmagic gear, like their ATEM and switchers and cameras, really unlocks the full potential, that whole ecosystem thing.
Absolutely. Tying it all together, these streaming processors are, well, a really smart answer to what modern IP broadcasting needs. Much more reliable for mission-critical stuff than just running software on a laptop. When you integrate them, the camera control, the tally, the talkback, it all just works seamlessly within that Blackmagic ecosystem. It simplifies the whole setup.
So wrapping this up, what does it mean for you, the listener? If you need to send high-quality 4K, maybe using efficient H.265, or if you really need that two-way communication with a remote crew, the Decoder 4K is probably what you're looking at. And if you're on the receiving end, needing a reliable way to get that stream back into your production workflow, the Decoder 4K is the piece you need. Put them together, and you've got this purpose-built, low-latency link with all the professional signals flowing back and forth. It really enables that scalable IP-based future.
Yeah, think about the next time you watch a live event from somewhere remote, that smooth picture, that connection. How much of that is probably down to dedicated hardware like this, just quietly doing its job in the background, making distance disappear. Kind of makes you appreciate the tech behind the scenes a bit more, doesn't it?